Good afternoon. It is the 3rd of October, 2019. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is the altcoin bull market report. We're going to review the big 7 cryptocurrencies traded on BitMEX, and then we'll go over Bitcoin dominance, and we'll take a look at what's going on with the altcoins in general. Before we jump in, I want to finish up with that actually. So what I want to do now is just say that in this episode, come and join us. Grab a frisbee, join the party. Come and subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. We do this every day where we're going through the relative strength index, the on-balance volume, the MACD, and the Ichimoku cloud for these 7 different cryptocurrencies. Let's jump in and abruptly quit the music. And I'll point out that there is a disclaimer in the description down below. You can go and read it. And this isn't trading advice, just market observation. Now, let me go into the charts and start off here. Looks like the chat is working along the side. Wow. And the viewers count is working up along the top so far, I think. I don't think it updates properly, but I'll double check that through the stream here today. Let me know if you find that bicycle loop up in the top corner distracting. So what we're looking at here today is the chart for ADA or Cardano. The last while we've been watching for this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation to shape up. We've got a double bottom here. And should prices break above these levels, all is good. And we've been watching for the relative strength index to shape up. It's got a nice divergence setting up here. And yet we've got to have it come and tick up and move up above these levels before we're going to get any bullish action. And it's going to coordinate really nicely with this as it's taking off. Should it take off? But right now, if the RSI here on the 12-hour time frame breaks below these levels, then I would have to say that prices are going to be fading down more. Let's quickly go through. I'm going to clear this off, and I'm going to look at the rest of these coins here in the 12-hour time frame. So just as a quick review, Bitcoin Cash is still down below these levels. It's got to get up above here before I can really pay any attention to it for a bullish stance. And it's at such historical lows that I'm not shorting it. So I'm looking for things at historical lows that I can find a bottom formation for. So this one's just sit and wait, sit and watch, nothing to do. EOS is getting itself back into that territory as well. It's down to such historical levels. I don't want to short it. But the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation isn't mature enough and it's not turning around. We're getting some weakness here. And in the RSI, we've also seen the similar pattern where this is giving us a nice positive divergence overall, but it's not giving us that break above these levels that we need for the breakout. And so we will continue watching EOS. Ethereum has been looking like a top formation for a few days. We've been talking about this divergence shaping up here, not just in the RSI on this 12-hour time frame, but also in the MACD indicator. It doesn't mean it's going to break down lower, but since it's making these top formations, that is it makes me feel like it's going to be pulling back at least to the mid levels here to retest these. And that would be normal, natural market movement in a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Nothing serious to worry about, not serious enough to think that the alts are capitulating and going down to new lows yet. We'll get into that. Let's go into Litecoin just for the overview. It still has this nice divergence in the RSI overall, but again, the 1, 2, 3, while it broke higher, it has pulled back, and it was a fake out breakout on that time frame. And now we're floating sideways, and who knows how long we'll go sideways. There is no way to know. And so this won't give us a signal at least until it's above here. And I like this little curl in the RSI right there. So a break above these levels is going to be very good for Litecoin. And then the next level up is after it breaks these levels and really starts to change direction. Then we can really sink our teeth into it. But actually, that's the most bullish looking thing we've seen here in this brief episode so far. TRX is also looking pretty good. A little bit more weakness right off the edge here, but that it's above these mid levels and climbing is very good. Let me see. And Ripple. Let's go see the relative strength index for Ripple. Actually looks pretty good, even though we're at a potential top and it's kind of diverging here. Should the RSI stay above these levels and continue rising, so will the price. Oops, wrong button. So there's the longer term view of it. And we can really see on all of these that we have this really great RSI divergence right off of this bottom. So it's wonderful in all of these coins. Like overall, I don't see that we are, well, this could pull back more and that would be okay. It seems okay for this market to get a little pullback. This isn't as strong a divergence in EOS, not so much in Bitcoin Cash, and pretty good in ADA. So I don't know, what's that, 5 out of 7 are looking pretty good. Not too shabby. Let's go on to the volume just for a quick peek at it. I'm going to look at the 12-hour time frame, and I want to see my clicker working here. I want to see this build up. We got lower volume of buying going on, sort of dumping going on. If it doesn't pick up and give us some positive volume when we're picking up above these levels, it's kind of weak, kind of puny and weak. Let's go on to Bitcoin Cash. Not expecting anything, no thunder here. More selling going on there, it seems like. Not so good. EOS really took a big kick in the pants and then hasn't really recovered. It's got to show us some juice. So that's not my favorite market. Ethereum is actually more favorite, even though it's making this kind of a top formation. If it does pull back to these ranges and it doesn't do too deep of dumping, that's pretty good. And it'll really build us up for what's coming next. So long as we keep staying above these levels and our exponential moving averages don't cross over, because that's always the get out of Doge, get out of town signal when that 12-hour exponential moving average crosses over. So Litecoin, I was actually expecting to tune in here and have a story of volume coming in, but there isn't. There's volume and more volume here, and then a little bit, but that's more overall selling yet. And I want to see this pick up. 4-hour time frame, still nothing. I was really anticipating that there we go. On the 1-hour time frame, we can see some juice poking in here on this Litecoin move. Okay, so that's redeems it a little bit better, but still, okay, that's not bad. You can see the volume picking up on that. It is showing a little bit of positive momentum, better than the other coins. Let's go to TRX and see what the longer term volume is on this. Really awesome. Okay, top 5 stars on this one right away. As soon as I'm seeing this with the RSI, the divergence that we had in this 1, 2, 3 bottom, the moving averages are crossing over to the positive here. That is a breakout I can't ignore for sure. That's really awesome. This one isn't so good. So TRX is really hands down the winner for today. For everything that we've seen and the indicators piling up here so far, TRX is winning. Let's go into the 12-hour time frame and just whiz through the MACD indicator. Nothing good here. Not positive, not negative. This is a little bit positive. This is a little bit positive for EOS. Good to see those two. I wasn't expecting. ETH, now that's looking a little bit negative, sort of like that top formation is kind of suggesting to us. And Litecoin is showing a little positive, just like our indicators are showing us. TRX should be twisted positive. Very good. So this is all starting to add up and actually make sense. And that is fading off, sort of like Ethereum. So Ethereum and Ripple took off first, and now they're easing off a little bit first. So far, we'll have to see how this actually crosses over and takes off. Let me close this. And I got to go back into TRX. Some compulsions are good to have. This is not breaking out as much as I want. And I'm wanting to see this flare positive here. How about the 1-hour time frame? Giving us some loving? Not yet. So when it breaks above these levels, we have to see these things breaking out. And if they're not, I'll be scratching my head and wondering what is going on. Let's back up now and take a look at the Ichimoku cloud for all of these coins. So we're looking at the 1-day view. Nothing's poked through the cloud here. Of course, nothing here. It's out of the books. EOS, not through the cloud in the 1-day view. Ethereum is through the cloud and looking kind of weak, but I do want to point out that this has stayed crossed positive, and that's flaring wider positive. So that's not as bearish as I thought. Let's go into Litecoin. It is crossing a little positive here, even on the 1-day Ichimoku. Very good. And now, I really like Tron shape here. This is really looking good against the cloud. Ripple is already up through the cloud and still looking positive there. Now I want to go through these same things again, but on the 4-hour time frame. So what I'm looking for here now is evidence of it. It's got to cross to the positive here if we're going up. Since this is crossed to the negative on the 4-hour time frame, remember how these all cross to the negative here out of these little tops, and then they pulled back. So if this is crossing to the negative, I want to pay attention. And yet, if it bounces off this cloud and goes higher, that's a buy signal in an uptrend for the Ichimoku cloud. So I'm holding on to my Ripple metaphorically. If I go on now to the 4-hour time frame of TRX, it is a much more positive outlook. Like we've got the positive here, we've got the cross positive here. This is cut through everything. Prices above the cloud, all really insanely amazing. Absolutely insanely amazing. So you guys who are watching the stream, I want to hear your success stories in, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You may say, oh, I've doubled my money. You may say, oh, my money has gone up by 3 times. Hey, it's gone back up to these levels and I've quadrupled my money. I might only put $20 in there, but that doesn't matter. It's the percentage gain that's the most exciting part. Keep excited about that percentage gain no matter how big it is, how many dollars it is, and eventually they all stack up and stack up and stack up. So this is really wicked. Let's go into Litecoin, which is giving us a bit of juice, but it's got to come up above this cloud, and it's going to really confirm solid when it gets above this cloud. We'll have the cross positive, we'll have the cross positive, we'll have this up and gone through everything. Really sweet setups here. I'm so glad to be doing these live streams and capture all this as it's setting up, especially since we've talked about this trading plan for years, and it's only a few different times that we come up to such beautiful chart formations that really match this chart pattern. Really nice. Even if this comes back to these levels and builds higher, it's all still really beautiful, beautiful charts. And again, if this bounces off these levels and breaks higher, it is like a nitro spot. This is the place to put on the nitro, which for me, that means leverage. That means going 2-to-1 leverage, 3-to-1. Depends on your risk control rules, your trading, everything that goes along with your trading to decide that. So if I go into the 4-hour time frame for EOS, it's not nearly as bullish yet. So we've got a few of them, even from this group of 6, we can see how the alts are splitting. What I mean is that some of them are going down to shitty and some of them are going up really positive. It's like a whole class level of good class coins and bad class coins all setting up and splitting out right now. Like they're separating the cream from the rest of the milk as we're setting up. And there's a really clear pattern. It's amazing to see it. So this one is one of the ones that is stepping up yet. Like we see TRX is definitely stepping up to the top range of this and making the ascending wedge triangle. So there's a really clear difference in the shape of these patterns. And the ones that have staged above these levels, they are all just phenomenal. Now, the big kicker here, though, is the Bitcoin dominance. We're in a head and shoulders top formation. And if this breaks down from these levels, don't hesitate, don't doubt, don't second guess. Altcoin season is here. If it goes down the other way, second guess, worry, wonder, watch all of your exponential moving averages for the exit signals so that you're not holding these as they become big heavy bags. Should this actually go this long-term direction I've been kind of watching for and worried about, sort of. If I drag this over, clear it off, I'll tell the story again here. There's no support and resistance between these ranges from 67 to 77% dominance. And this would probably move altcoins back significantly. They'll take that massive capitulation low to prices we haven't seen them go to yet. And I anticipate it'll be a quick one should we have that happen. But better to get ready to keep your losses small at the beginning of this pullback if it does. And we'll be paying attention to that. One of the ways we pay attention to that, we can look at multicoincharts.com and set this up so you see Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. And then you can really see when Bitcoin's doing something and they're going opposite, it stands out in the chart. Really awesome. I love multicoincharts.com. I use it a lot. The other way to pay attention to it is through our patron bull market watch spreadsheet, where we can see that we have things in yellow and green. Yellow means it's a coming into a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and it's almost breaking out. So if I was to color code ADA and zoom in on this, let me give it some more space here. We have, that's the 1-day view. Let's go into the 12-hour, even the 4-hour time frame, just to zoom in to give the chart some color here. So you know that the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, you could call this the number 2 now, and this is the double number 1. This is our number 2 spot, and this is our number 3 spot in our larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And so as I'm deciding if this is going to be a buy signal for our main trading plan there, I will color code this area all the way through here as neutral. And so it all gets color coded neutral. And then I'll color code this area as an alert. So it is close to taking off, but not quite yet. Everything above this area would be considered a hold, and it goes up quite a bit larger depending on the support and resistance from the recent history. So then we could say that through that area, this would be a hold status coin. And if we scroll it, move it back down this way, then I would put an additional range down in here to say this is near fail. It's nearly failing to new lows. And at the same time, I would say that anything coming down below these levels is a fail. It's going down to completely new levels. It's failed the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And so we go through and we color code all of the markets this way. Go back to auto. And then we put this into the spreadsheet so that we're color coded. We can see where things are. But the other thing that we do is to color things a cold fish, I call it. And it is a point in the chart when the exponential moving averages cross over. And when that crosses over, then we call it a cold fish, and we should be getting out of that market. So with our spreadsheet now, we can go through and we can follow along the color coding. How many are yellow? How many are green? And are there any blues? Blues on that specific day is an exit. So there was one exit coin here on Poloniex today. And let's go take a look at it. I know that it was rep. So I'm just going to go alphabetically close down to rep, OPQR. So if I zoom into rep and I go into the 12-hour time frame, earlier today when I looked at this, it was crossed over, which would be an exit signal. When that crosses over, you exit. Of course, the candles are still live, so they've retraced back a little bit, and that has uncrossed our exponential moving average. But this is the kind of thing we look for. If the 4-hour time frame crosses over, 4-hour time frame, then that would be one exit point. If the 12-hour exponential moving average crosses over and we have a top formation, that's our second exit point. And so we're getting in off of these potential bottoms, and we're getting out if it doesn't prove properly, right? If it doesn't prove out, we don't want to hold it. So if we could get into something like this, and then the exponential moving averages cross over, we want to get out when those moving averages cross over. We can see that when this crosses over, it is doomsday. We've broken the top formation. Shit is happening. We are going down. And so I want to track those. I want to know when those actually happen, because it proves that the altcoin bull market run out of steam. It's just not going anywhere. And then we're not going to be bag holders after the fact. Here we go, crossed again. Boom, boom. So I see we got a few people in the chat now. We've pretty much run through the presentation. I guess the last little bit here is to talk about the difference between the bull market watch, which is a color-coded spreadsheet, and the actual pro alerts here. You can see the pro alerts give us our specific entry point, our exit point, a screenshot to go along with it. And some of these trades are up insane profits now. These are phenomenal that we've caught all of these bottom formations across here. And if your portfolio isn't showing all of these kind of wins right now in cryptocurrencies, be sure to come over and go to our Intro to Cryptos website, sign up for the free training on the homepage, and start to learn this trading plan. Even if you're learning on your own, practice it. Practice it. is phenomenal. So now, if you have any requests, any coins you'd like me to take a look at, you can fire them into the chat there, and I will fire them through our process. I will take a look at and do the deep dive on whatever coin you have there. And let me scroll down. BTC. I want to see Link. Where's Link? Good to have you along, manufacturing customers. So we've gone through 20 minutes, blasted through everything here quickly because there's just not a lot of great trading signals, except for Litecoin and Tron. The other ones are sort of holding back on. And even when we're starting to get into, like, Link here made a really nice breakout from this ascending wedge triangle. And I was anticipating this would be a top formation here, but it didn't top out. Even though we had the divergence in the RSI shaping up here as it was making this top formation, it kicked out of that and charged back up. Now that the RSI has come back down, I don't know if the prices are going to come back down, if they're just going to hover a bit and storm yet higher. So that was a pretty good one. And even though I thought this was top formation and coming down, it was already in one of our alert signals here. We were already long at 00018, and we're up 26% on that. So even though if I'm reading at a top formation, I've got to go into it with the 12-hour exponential moving average and say, is it time to get out? Even though I think that it is the top formation here, the 4-hour exponential moving average was so far apart that it could probably come back a long ways before it's actually going to kick me out of this trade. So I may do the technical analysis and look at the potential top formation, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get out of the trade right there. Those things are written into our trading plan, and we don't show this color coding for all of the Binance markets. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. So if we go into Binance, we cover everything. So here we are right at the top of the spreadsheet looking at July the 10th, and we can scroll all the way across, and we do, of course, we have Link here, and we can follow all the way down to see how that has progressed over time. The magic of this spreadsheet is phenomenal. The data here that we've been collecting is so valuable now that we are turning the corner and the alts are taking off, not just for when to get in, but when to get out is the most important thing, when to hold on to them. MTH I also want to look at. So this is a coin that I got the trading signal in our pro alerts here, and I bought in at 175, and it's turned out well. So I've got my stop loss above my entry now, and I will sit back and see where this goes. I'm super excited because of this that it did before, and this that it did before. These are what I call popcorn moves, pop just like popcorn, and all the way back down. The only way to be prepared for a popcorn move is to purchase some of it, just to be a bag holder, and already have your sell signals as high as you can in the market in advance. So if I bought 100 coins here, I would put 20, 40, 60, 80 coins out for sale like this, and I'd have 20 coins for discretionary selling. So if I saw it popping up like this, I would have already sold out of my coin. By the time it came back down here, I'd go, wow, look at those profits. Now I can consider either buying back into this if it's building a bottom formation that is taking off again, or I could be redeploying my funds into other things. So being prepared for the manipulation that happens in the markets to the negative side and to the positive side is going to make a big difference in your trading. If you anticipate that this could happen and you set out all of your alts so that they have that sell strategy laid out in advance right now, while we're at the very beginning of the bull market, I think is a great strategy. I call it the popcorn strategy. And that about runs us through. Unless you guys have something you would like me to take a look at, put it in the chat. We've covered everything that I want to cover on this stream. And I'm super excited to get back to not just the the bull market watch spreadsheet. This was updated this morning, but we're doing tons of work right now on the pro alerts because everything's taking off. We're following these up with our stop losses into the correct places and starting to watch for when to be adding on to these trades. The second part of our risk control rules. Let me zoom back into Bitcoin dominance here. Clear this off. GVT finally broke higher, even crushing the 60-day moving average. Hey, Smoking Altcoins, thank you for posting that. Be sure to come and join us on Discord. If you are interested in cryptos, and we talk about this all day long, all night long. So I'm watching Bitcoin dominance. Again, if this breaks down below these levels, altcoin season is here. Don't hesitate. Don't doubt it. Start to implement. However, if it's going the other way, then we're going to watch for those cold fish, those blue signals in our bull market watch spreadsheet, because they're going to tell us to get out of those coins and stand aside, retry again later after things have taken off. Now, GVT, I want to go and look at because I wasn't expecting it to go so quickly. Okay, when I get back into this time frame, it's just starting. This, like when I think of when it's going, I'm thinking some much bigger movements. This back in here was tantalizing. It seemed like such a wicked bottom formation, and so many other coins were taking off, but this one never did mature. If we go and take a look at say DLT, I think it was during this time frame. So we're looking at 2019 here, DLT. Look, this is one of our alerts that we had, the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Our alert turned out great. It made the top formation, the exponential moving average crossed over, and we got out. Done deal. Nothing else to do. But you had to be prepared all in advance so that you were ready for this. And you weren't ready, you stayed unready, or you didn't do anything with something like GVT through that same time frame. So there's some of the markets that take off and do super well. We want to be watching and tracking those. Then there's others that they just don't get up and go anywhere. And we don't want to go into these and hold it sideways. So our risk control rules, this pattern of waiting for the bottom formation to break out and change directions, along with our strategy of exiting on the 4-hour EMA crossover. So as these are potentially breaking out, this was a terrible market because it pumped and then it faded back, pumped and then it faded back. And so if you're buying on a breakout with a market order, you're probably getting slippage, and then you're having to sell out here, and then you're getting all excited, and then you're going, oh shit, I have to sell out here. It's killer. So be sure whenever you're trading these 1, 2, 3 bottoms that you always start off with a part of your position, knowing that if you are correct, there will be time to add on to it later in a safer way. These are dangerous trading patterns. They really can't, in hindsight, they're beautiful. They can see exactly when to buy. But coming in from like something like this, you're coming down, it looks like we're just about to do the same breakout and turn around and do the same thing up again, and then it doesn't. So you really have to have those trading plans practiced ahead of time. So now that we've come to this, it gives us a whole new lease on life here. The way this has come down here and built up, I would also be feeling like this is a beautiful 1, 2, 3. There's our breakout pattern. There's another breakout pattern above these levels. So if it pulls back into these levels or comes up and retouches these levels, we've got more opportunities to be staging in. Then I would be thinking that if we are trending and it's going to do anything like we've seen before, then I want a plan that I'm going to add on way back here. So my initial position is so nice and small. I give myself a lot of time. I don't care if it's zipping up and down. And once it gets into these levels, I can add on to it. And now we can sit back. Now we've got our actual position and we can sit back and wait for this to give us the top formation where we are going to get out. And this is the same strategy for all of these coins that will absolutely suck if these things start to range sideways. My trading system gets pummeled, especially the way I run my stop losses personally. And you don't have to run your stop losses this way. When I get into a trade like this, I'll put my stop just above my entry and I'll wait. I'll let it come all the way back and kick me out on that stop. So I get a very small profit for all of that work. And then I have to do it again. I put my trade on, put my stop above it, it comes back and kicks me out. And I get lots of work and very small profit on these choppy markets. So if we are going into a choppy market, of course, it makes sense to have a tighter stop that follows you up, and then you can actually make some money out of this. If you're botting, perhaps you can. But for my own part, I am trading, and the system trades for capturing these kind of moves. For capturing, let's go to a longer time frame. For capturing these kind of moves here. Once the 1, 2, 3 top bottom formation breaks and we play out our strategy, it works phenomenally to catch the profits in these moves. So that's what we're waiting for. That's what we're studying for. That's what we're getting prepared for in all of these alts. And then we'll watch for that top formation whenever it appears. Poke out targets are massive. Yes, targets are massive on many of these coins. It is insane. Like March of 2017. March of 2017, we had gone through all of 2016 and most of up to the first few months of 2017 of a downtrend from that period, from a little bull run we had in 2015. Then as Bitcoin went up from, I don't know, $250 to $1,000, all of the alts got super crushed down all the way through 2016. And we came to massive bottom formations just like this. So be prepared. Get ready. These are incredible times. Everybody's talking about it, but it's real. It's specific. So let me now check out the chats here again. So from Sweden, thanks for streaming. What happens if the dollar or the pound collapses totally and loses all of its value and disappears completely today's system, and one Bitcoin, for example, one Bitcoin is... Well, first of all, silver and gold are going to be going through the moon as the dollar collapses. It's going to be a massive financial reset. Silver will go to $150 an ounce. Gold will go to $5,000 an ounce. And Bitcoin will go to $45,000 to $60,000 a coin. So when the financial system collapses, certainly it's a really good idea to be stacking your silver coins right now. Get a handful of silver coins because they're just going to go up so much in value against the dollar. If you get a chance to read the book, not Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. Of course, I always recommend Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. But for this example of the dollar collapsing, it's more important to read the book called Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. Let me see if I can search this out. Ah, good. I don't have to type it all the way out. Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. First edition was 1884, I think. 1841. And it writes of a tale of the 1700s when the French government took their dollar off of the gold standard and they issued paper money. And for many, many years, France flourished in profit because of this change but by the time things wrapped up, their paper money was worth absolutely nothing. And all of the people from the countries all around France pretty much bought all of their gold, all of their art, and absolutely everything of value from the country. It just absolutely flowed out of the country because their system of finance collapsed. And so as we see what's going on with the US government printing billions and billions of dollars, what's it, $10 billion a day right now they're injecting into the economy for liquidity. It's just watering down. You know, if you have Kool-Aid and you're adding a whole bunch of water to it to hand it to extra guests, of course your Kool-Aid tastes like shit. It's awful. There's nothing left to it. And it's the same thing with the US dollar. Some people say that Bitcoin prices are not actually going up. And I got to pull the chart out to show you that they're not actually going up. From this time over here, the Bitcoin price really hasn't been going up. What's happening here is the US dollar is falling so fast. Bitcoin is staying still, and this is how fast the dollar is dropping. Some people say that, over the whole lifespan of cryptocurrencies, we can see that we've gone from $1's value in 2011 to $8,100 worth of value now after this much time. And that is nothing but the dollar losing value and Bitcoin holding its steady, which is kind of crazy. So alts don't look so good versus the US dollar. I always have a misconception or a skewed view of the alts because I never pay attention to alts versus US dollar. Because if alts are valued versus Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes down, of course the alts are going to go down in US dollar value. And so they're tied too much to Bitcoin when you're looking at the US dollar value of it. And then other people are saying it's just the opposite way, where you've got to measure everything against the US dollar so you get a stable perspective. And I say poof to the US dollar, and I watch everything against Bitcoin. Everything. And I like to see what the gold price is versus the price of Bitcoin, silver price against the price of Bitcoin, everything against the price of Bitcoin, because I want to grow my Bitcoin. I don't, of course, if I grow my Bitcoin, it takes care of the dollars. I don't have to think about it, but it's my focus is to grow my Bitcoin. So let's go back to the chat here. Adrian, I'm happy to have you along. I love all your comments and your participation in our Discord chat. Lots of great charts. I love it. It's great stuff. So you can look at it either on each pair or the alts market cap. Yeah, the alts market cap is sort of a measure of against the US dollar again as well. And I like to, one of these, I don't see it right now. One of the Telegram groups I'm in is some whale bot something or other. And every day it posts an update of the Bitcoin dominance in the last 24 hours. No, Bitcoin market cap, the overall market cap in the last 24 hours. So it shows you how many billions have come in or gone out of the whole crypto sphere. And that kind of data is really important because we know now that there are so many more avenues and on-ramps for institutions, for everybody to be buying Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We're all expecting a much bigger run-up. I'm expecting a much bigger run-up in everything. I've been expecting it for a while. And so I think that about wraps it up here. I love having you guys here. It really helps me in my own trading. And now it's time to get back to the spreadsheet because that's where the real data is for me. Whenever somebody brings up a coin, I always grab the spreadsheet because we've got every coin in the spreadsheet. All of Binance and all of Poloniex. There's no way to do every coin. I don't have enough hours awake in the daytime. But that about wraps it up. I will sign off from here. And tomorrow we'll sign back in and we'll do the same thing. We'll come back and we'll compare what ADA actually did from here. Did it fade down further? Did TRX actually break higher out of this amazing formation? This is the best one of all of them here for today. Litecoin, I think it's going to be picking up as well. I don't think Ripple is going to be dropping back from here. I think it's staging and we're going to see one of those monster candles coming out of this pretty soon. There's some really big turnaround going on here. So I hope so. I love it. Hey, manufacturing customers. Yes, but if fiat currency soon don't even exist, then can we even say that one once is worth something, fiat currency, when there is no more fiat? Yeah, it's going to be tricky. Remember in Zimbabwe, just recently they had their currency meltdown and they had, what was it, $1 trillion note or something like that because their money was worth nothing. And so, yeah, and in World War II, there was another time where, or World War I or whatever, the money was devalued so much that people were bringing literal wheelbarrows full of money to purchase groceries because it was worth nothing. So it's good to diversify at these uncertain times. It would be really good to have a little stack of gold and silver over in the corner that you could be selling off over time if the dollar does collapse. It's really good to have a little storehouse of some Bitcoin and even a cold storage paper wallet that's off to the side somewhere for the long-term future. These are pretty crazy days, and the more resources that you can have stored away, I think it's a good idea these days. It's a good idea. Anyway, I will sign off. And I'm at downs. Yeah. I'll sign off here for today. And tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., I'm going to be doing the Bitcoin live stream. I was going to reschedule it to 8:30 in the morning, but the traffic noise out here is just terrible at that time of the day. So I'm going to get up earlier. I'm going to get up at 3:30 in the morning so I can prepare and do that 5 a.m. live stream for Bitcoin every day. Early to bed, early to rise keeps you going to bed early and getting up early. And we'll tune in to see what Bitcoin's actually going to end up doing out of these. There's no answer yet, but it's starting to feel like we're going to get a bit of a Bart Simpson back up the other way. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope this is super value for you. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Cheers. Bye for now. Got to finish with a big thank you to the patron sponsors who make this live stream possible for everybody. Cheers.